Yo, what's that word, peoples? Got another story for y'all. In a very interesting storybook type fashion, you got the King Von death being revisited once again. This shit is interesting as hell, bro. It's very, very interesting, bro. They got a Lil Durk affiliate, OTF Vonnie. He's currently incarcerated right now. People have suspected him of being a snitch and being one of the informants on this case. So an audio leaked out maybe 2, 3 days ago, a conversation with OTF Vonnie's dad. OTF Vonnie's dad, who people are calling King Von's uncle. He does a segment with Trench's News. It's about like an hour-long segment with Trench's News. And he drops an audio talking about they paid Little Tim to have King Von murdered at that club, 21 Savage's club in Atlanta that night. Here's the thing with this. Much as my conspiracy theorist mind wants to tell me, yes, I knew it. I knew Lil Durk set up King Von. My rational mind is telling me otherwise. I listened to the audio, right? OTF Vonnie's dad uses trigger words like Illuminati, setup, backdoor, conspiracy. You know, he uses a lot of trigger words, bro, that really, to the average consumer, he makes it really sound believable. You know what I'm saying? He talks about the forces of darkness, higher ups, the Jewish people setting these things up so Lil Durk gets his Grammys. These things all sound well and dandy, bro. But it's just something in my spirit that says, bro, this is some bullshit. I'm telling you, bro, like if you really listen to it, he does the first interview with Trench's News. Trench's News says he's got the exclusive and nobody could get it before him. Talking about 2 days later, he's talking to everybody about the story. It's not exclusive no more. Once you say you got an exclusive story, and then within 2 days, everybody got it, bro. Nah, this is a PR stunt. This is a PR stunt. I'm really thinking to myself, what timing is it for you to say Lil Durk set this whole thing up to get King Von murdered while Lil Durk is fighting an active case for murder for hire right now? It really doesn't make too much sense, bro. Timing is everything in the world, bro. You got to ask yourself, why would you be doing this right now? You're going to throw someone under the bus who's currently fighting a murder for hire case. And then you're going to add another murder for hire case for the person who the murder for hire case was in retaliation of. So you're telling me Lil Durk paid for a hit for somebody that he paid for a hit on? It sounds crazy, bro. It's all this bells and whistles and wizardry. I want to believe it so bad. I want to say, yes, I knew it. The industry is devil worshippers and there's all kinds of stuff going on. But this right here, it's almost too good to be true. It's almost too good to be true, bro. Like, it can't be that easy. They're not going to give it to us. They're not going to give it to us that easy. You know what I'm saying? My theory of it is he's trying to save his son, bro. Because he's putting all this stuff on Lil Durk, bro. And if y'all listen to the interview and the audio with him talking about it, he said, we paid Lil Tim. Him and his son, right? We paid Lil Tim. Okay, you two niggas set that up, right? He claims he had no whereabout or know-how of any of the reason why Lil Tim was being paid in April for the hit, and they didn't kill him until September. He says he has no know-how about that. Okay, all right, okay, cool. But you two niggas set up the hit. That's what you just said. You two niggas, you and your son are the ones who paid for the hit. Where is Lil Durk coming from in this whole aspect? So the dude, he does a lot of contradictful things in there. Academics ask him in the follow-up interview, so why are you doing all this? He said, I wouldn't be doing all this if they didn't say my son was a rat. if they didn't put that rat stamp on my son. So, okay, cool. Academics, see, you got to really pay attention to people when they talk. The more you get them to talk, the more you get them to tell on themselves. Throughout the interview, about maybe 30 minutes in, academic says, so do you think your son's snitching? He said, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. And I don't care either. Why'd you say initially that you doing this for your son because they put a rat stamp on him, but you don't know if your son is snitching or not? My boy says, I'm only doing this because he turned on his family. He didn't pay his blood money, and he uses a lot of he's very good with this manipulation thing. It's very, to an average person, you wouldn't catch on to the subtle clues. You get what I'm saying? The subtle clues. He uses a lot of scriptures from the Quran and stuff like that. No problem with it. No problem with it. The stuff he's saying from the Quran is factual. I'm pretty sure it's pretty factual, but he's using the religious aspect of it to incorporate his greed into the situation. If you really pay attention, he said, I don't give a fuck about no money, but I'm mad because he turned on family. You got to pay your blood money if you set somebody up. I said, oh, okay. So in reality, this is about the money. It's a dead giveaway, bro. Like the dude, I mean, I listened to it. I sat there and listened to this dude for a whole hour straight. The story been out on the Trenches News channel, but I wanted to wait a little bit. I said, nah, this is too good to be true. I said, there's something to this. I said, let me wait a few days and let this shit like fester on and shit like that and see what happened. And lo and behold, Buddy he's on everybody's YouTube now. He's giving the story out like a hot bag of Skittles, bro. You get a story, you get a story, you get a story. So the exclusivity of the story is not as hot as it was at first. So I'm really guessing this is a money grab, bro, for sure. It sounds like something we all want to hear. Yeah, Lil Durk sacrificed King Von because he was worried about him being hotter than him. But you got to watch how people move. You've known about this for 5 years, bro. King Von been dead and gone for a long time, bro. Like, why you waiting until your son get grabbed and they putting the rat stamp on him? He goes really in deep detail about this situation, and you almost want to believe him. But he kind of remind me of like that smoker uncle, you know what I'm saying? Who said he used to be a millionaire back in the day, and he just talking shit. You get what I'm saying? He just kind of talking shit. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't know, bro. I don't know. I just my personal opinion, it sound far-fetched, bro. It sound far-fetched. I'm sure there's some gems in here. Even in a lie, there's some truth to everything. So there might be some foul play, because I always ask myself, why was Quando, Rondo, and Little Tim just there, bro? In the same parking lot with King Von, just chilling outside the club. What was they waiting on, bro? You know what I'm saying? That part seemed shut up. You know what I mean? Like, what was the chances they would just beat her all at the same time and then somebody pointed out? You get what I mean? That part, that conspiracy needs to be investigated. But the rest of the story, I don't know, bro. I don't know, bro. We probably gotta wait a little bit, but after listening to the dude for an hour straight talk about this situation, I know a manipulator when I hear it. Fast talking, ramble on in circles, and kind of give you the same thing over and over again. You get what I mean? He's really going on this campaign right now. And he's in the internet hard with it. But my thing is, he even said he talked to the feds about this. They didn't give a shit about it. And it was like, bro, like, why are you going to the internet about it, bro? It sound like a money grab, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sound like he want to get a piece of the pie, bro. And his son didn't cut him in on whatever money he got out of this whole King Von situation. And he want to get his piece of the pie, hustling through it the only way he knows how to. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on this story, let y'all know what unfolds from this mystery, this fairy tale that we seem to be going through with Lil Durk, King Von, and OTF Vonnie and his father. But y'all like, comment, subscribe, let me know what y'all think. Is dude lying or is he telling the truth?